In today's Leeds news, Wrexham and Hull eye Gelhardt move. Bornauw nears Leeds exit. Struijk on his Leeds exit decision. League Cup draw. Deossa versatility highlighted. And Elvedi is an option, but no offers yet. Tuesday, the 11th of August, you're here at the Leeds View with your daily Leeds United news. I hope you've all had a really good week so far. We do these Monday to Friday, as well as a transfer wrap-up at the weekend and 2 podcasts a week. And we are part of the Talk Sport fan network for our audio feeds. You can check them out across Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your audio podcast feeds from. We've got a bit of stuff to get stuck into today. A lot of people have been asking over the last week or two, what's the story with the exits? Why are Leeds not getting players out the door? Well, that has picked up pace this morning, and there are some developing stories over the last 3 to 4 hours that are moving pretty quickly. We'll give you as much of an update on them as we possibly can, but they're all centered around exits, so they might be getting what they want now. The fees might upset a few people, though. We'll get into that in a bit more detail. If you're interested, by the way, in buying the Leeds United training kit or official kit, you can do so through our official link with Leeds United and Fanatics in the links down below in the description. If you want to hype today's video, that would be massively appreciated. Let's get into today's news. So fresh interest this morning in Joe Gelhardt from the Championship and the Premier League, and people seem to be getting ready to make their move. According to the Daily Mail, Wrexham have identified Joe Gelhardt as a potential target and someone they believe can help them bridge the Championship wall and get into the Premier League for next season. Birmingham City and Hull City, as we know, both have had different levels of interest in Joe Gelhardt. Hull City are also believed to have started to make their moves on Joffrey this morning as well. But Wrexham see Joffrey as someone who could replicate what he did last season for Hull and help them to get into the Premier League for next season. The fee on this is relatively speculative, at least right now. Wrexham are believed to value Joe Gelhardt at in and around £4.5 million. They're also willing to pay £8 million for Anthony Patterson, the goalkeeper from Sunderland. And if he's worth £8 million, then Joe Gelhardt's worth far more than £4.5 million. But Hull City are also believed to have begun negotiations with Leeds United today around the possibility of bringing Joe back to the club. And it's a perfect storm for Leeds United if they want to get that fee up. £4.5 million fee very clearly represents his ticking contract with less than 12 months left on it now, rather than his performances last season in the Championship and what he did for Hull. But one thing that Leeds have really struggled at in the last couple of summers is selling players for profit or for a half decent amount of money. Jack Harrison left the club this summer to go to New England Revolution, and he left what was described as a nominal fee, although getting his wages off the books was probably a much bigger thing that Leeds needed to get done. Max Verber left the club for a contract termination, wages again, but also no fee coming in there. And Pascal Struijk left for £18 million, but that was in last season's financials, so can't be used in this summer's SCR, or at least not all of it, at least. So in an SCR world, Leeds do need to try and start bringing in fees for players of a decent level and stop being a charitable case with options to buy on loans, as it has been the case over the last 2 summers. But Joffrey's situation right now might help with that problem. If it's a case that you've got Hull City and Wrexham both interested in him, if the starting point is £4.5 million, that could rise a little bit. And given he's got 12 months left on his contract, if Leeds could get anything between £6 to £8 million for him, that would be a very good fee. And Leeds are believed to want between 5 and 8 for the player. So it will depend on what they're willing to put on the table and how long this will tick down. But it's going to be interesting over the next couple of days to see where this goes and if it is actually speeding up. The fact that Wrexham made their move yesterday appears to have kicked Hull into action. And as we know, Hull were hoping to wait until the end of the window and no one else would be interested in Joe Gelhardt. They'd pinch him on the cheap, and that might not be the case right now. We'll have to wait and see. Let's move on. Sebastian Bornauw's Leeds United future might be coming to a close. There's a lot of noise in Germany about a potential exit from Leeds and a move back to the Bundesliga for the player. And this morning, The Athletic have also jumped in on this as well with some detail on it. There are plenty of Hamburg-related media outlets that are very confident that Sebastian Bornauw is very close to completing a deal to move to Hamburg SV for the upcoming Bundesliga season. 2 dedicated Hamburg fanzines have both said that Bornauw's move to Hamburg is at a very advanced stage, and the local media have all backed this up as well. There was a small piece in The Athletic this morning from Baron Cross that also says that there does appear to be a lot more fire to the smoke on this one, and Sebastian Bornauw could be about to move back to the Bundesliga. Leeds bought Sebastian Bornauw for £5 million. They value him at in and around £6 to £7 million now. And that might be a bit of a sticking point, and we're into loan with option territory yet again. According to Hamburger Abendblatt, they say that HSV would like Bornauw, but on an initial loan with an option to buy at the end of the season. And that is believed to be down to their current financial situation. And that current financial situation isn't expected to change in the next 12 months. So it's incredibly unlikely that this time next year, all of a sudden they'll have money to buy Sebastian Bornauw, and you're going to see that option not being triggered yet again. From Leeds' stance on this, or at least what the German media is saying about Leeds' stance on that, they're saying that Leeds United would like a fee for the player of in and around £6 million. So they'd make a slight profit on him as well if they wanted him to go, which again, I don't think anyone's in a massive rush to see Sebastian Bornauw leave the club. He's been very good when he's played for us. I think most people can watch him and suggest he's a fine player. He's a good backup. Hasn't really let us down when he has played. Had a good pre-season as well. But if the player wants to go, that could dictate the situation that we're in. Another avenue on this, should Leeds decide to go down the loan option, is that if Leeds could get a hefty loan fee up front, like maybe £2 or £3 million even as a loan fee, and then potentially the rest of it, should the option be triggered, that would at least give Leeds some money coming in right now that they could reinvest in a replacement, because they will absolutely need to get a replacement should Sebastian Bornauw leave the club. In terms of credibility, all the sources on this are top-notch sources, so there does appear to be an awful lot more to this. If he's not part of Leeds United squad against Manchester in Croke Park tomorrow night, I think we can all take from that Sebastian Bornauw is moving away from Leeds United. There are some rumblings of a potential replacement already. Nico Elvedi is one of them. We'll talk about that now. We are getting to the point of a transfer window when it gets quiet that we're seeing a lot of the same names that have been linked with Leeds United over the last couple of years all of a sudden be linked again with the club. And that could be because there's genuine interest, and it could also just be a case of lazy journalism, and it's an obvious link to put with him. But Nico Elvedi has popped up again, but there's a lot more context to this than a straightforward replacement for Sebastian Bornauw. But as a replacement for Bornauw, Elvedi would be a top tier replacement. He is a very experienced player. He's got a history with Daniel Farke, and he would be a player for me that if he did come in would put serious competition on Joe Rodon's shoulders for the new season. However, there's some recent information about Leeds' interest in Elvedi. Yeah, they are still believed to be interested in him, but Gladbach's head of sport, Rowan Schroeder, spoke publicly about Nico Elvedi at the weekend. And on Saturday, he said that no formal offers have arrived for Elvedi, despite interest in the Swiss centre-half. He said no verbal offers and no contact, but the club is very aware of the interest in him. Now, Elvedi has also been named in Gladbach's leadership group for the upcoming season. They still very much see him as a player that will stay with them for at least the next 12 months. Well, that's all he's going to stay with them, because he also said this summer that he's not planning on signing a new deal at the club, and he's into his last 12 months. On the leadership stuff, it's not a massive deal. Pascal Struijk was part of Leeds United's leadership group. He was the vice captain, and he left in the summer, so it can happen. For Leeds side on this, Leeds are believed to have tracked Elvedi during the World Cup. They are very much interested in him, and he falls into the category of what Leeds would have looked at this time last year. 29 years of age, over 6 foot in height, and in the final 12 months of his contract. So from that perspective, it will be an interesting one for Leeds to have a look at. Daniel Farke has got a very strong relationship with him. Farke described him when he was at Gladbach as an absolute leader. So he ticks the character box that Leeds are looking to add to the squad this summer. Elvedi himself is reportedly open and happy to move to Leeds United should a move happen, or should an interest or an offer finally go in for the player. But we're over a year into this one, as I say, and there hasn't actually been a formal offer from Leeds United. There were reports that Leeds put a formal offer in. Schroeder has said that's not the case. Nobody has put a formal offer in, at least just yet. And we'll see where this one goes. Gladbach, though, are believed to be resigned to losing him. They're happy to keep him into this season and let him wind his contract down because of what he brings to the club. But he has said he's not going to sign a new deal. So put a few quid in the table. We'll see if we get a decision on whether he moves or not. But it is very much in the rumour mill territory, at least for right now. There's rumblings of this more so than anything concrete, but we'll see if it does materialise into anything more concrete. Let's move on. Pascal Struijk has spoken for the first time about leaving Leeds United and why he chose to move to Brighton over accepting a brand new deal at Elland Road and staying at the club. And the answer that we got was pretty straightforward, as you would expect from Pascal Struijk. He signed a 5-year deal at the Amex. He did turn down an improved offer by Leeds United to stay at Leeds. And he spoke about the move and he said the reasons were the following. With the club achieving Europe, this is a step I wanted to take to develop as a player and challenge myself with European experience to become a better player. It was a big factor. And as a kid, you always dream about playing international competitions as well. So European football and potentially playing for the Dutch national side were the main reasons for his move. He hasn't played for Brighton, I don't think, in pre-season yet. He wasn't part of their squad against Roma during the week. I don't know if he's injured or if they're just taking their time with getting him up to speed, but he wasn't part of their matchday squad at all. But yeah, straightforward enough. No digs, no underhanded comments, no slight snarly remarks towards Leeds United on the back end of it. Very complimentary about his time at Leeds United. And we've got Tarek Muharamovic in the door, who looks to be, at least right now, is a little bit of an upgrade. We'll see how he gets on in the Premier League. Let's move on. Leeds United have been drawn away in the League Cup to absolutely nobody's surprise for this year's competition. Leeds have been drawn away to Nottingham Forest and will travel to the City Ground a couple of days after they travel to the City Ground to play Nottingham Forest in the league. This tends to happen every season for Leeds, or every couple of seasons. We had it with West Ham as well a few years back. The game will take place on Monday, the 24th of August. Ticket availability will be out soon via the official Leeds United channels. So yeah, back-to-back trips to the City Ground for Leeds United in the League Cup. Fingers crossed we can get past this round this year after what happened against Sheffield Wednesday last year. Move on. Right, so Nelson Deossa's situation at Real Betis remains one that's worth keeping an eye on over the next couple of weeks. And his pre-season has taken a pretty sharp right turn that might change Leeds' interest in him and Betis' stance on keeping him or not. Leeds United officials were believed to be in Dublin at the Aviva Stadium last week to watch Deossa playing against Arsenal, and they got to see him score an absolute banger from long range. And they might have just seen a player who they went to watch, a central midfielder, and they got to watch a striker. He has been adapting to a brand new position as Manuel Pellegrini has changed his position at the club and has been utilising him as a striker over the course of this pre-season. And he's adapted pretty easily to it, scoring 3 goals in pre-season already. He was supposed to move to Vasco da Gama earlier in the summer on loan. That move fell through at the last minute. And Leeds United have been described as one of several clubs that are believed to be interested in him. And as I say, Leeds were looking at an adaptable, diverse midfielder, and they might have gotten a very versatile player, or they might be interested now in a very versatile player who can play in multiple positions for the club. And that might change Real Betis' stance on it. His performance against Arsenal was very good. It was described as eye-catching in the Spanish media. And as I say, Leeds are looking for a versatile player, and he might tick that box. Betis' position on this may have changed. They were looking at loaning him out. He had a tricky first season moving to Europe to play for Betis. He didn't score any goals last season, was primarily playing in a deeper lying midfield area. But if you look at his career before that, he did have a knack for scoring goals, and he's proven that again over the course of this pre-season. But they might want to hang on to him now that he's proven to be an option to play up front for them as well. Leeds, as I say, did watch him. They are described as being an interested party in the player. He might have caught the eye in more ways than one, and we'll see if it develops into anything. But you would imagine, again, a half-decent transfer fee. You'd get him. Whether Leeds are looking at him as a player who can play in different positions, that remains to be seen. But he did play up front before in his career as well, so maybe there's more in this than we believe. We'll see. Still a rumour at this moment in time. Anyway, folks, if you could like the video, subscribe to the channel, hype it on your way out the door, that would be massively appreciated. That'll be it for me today. I will talk to you tomorrow, and if you're at the game on Wednesday night, I'll see you there. Have a great rest of your day. Talk to you soon. See you. Bye.